Welcome to my first lecture in analytic geometry. I will talk about the rectangular coordinate system. The rectangular coordinate system is a system to give coordinates to a point that lie on a plane. If I were to describe this using a physical phenomenon or something that we do every day, this is a system of giving an address to an object that lies on a plane. Okay, so basically this is like how to give an address and how to locate that place when we are given the address. So how do we do it with rectangular coordinate system? How do we begin it? What we do is we draw two axes that are perpendicular to each other. Okay? You call the horizontal axis the x-axis or sometimes the abscissa. You call the vertical axis the y-axis. You call it the ordinate. Where those two axes intersect is what we call the origin. Our axes divide our plane into 4 quadrants. And we read the quadrants counterclockwise. This is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. And so if you have a point on the plane, on the Euclidean plane, okay, you call this the Euclidean plane, you call it the rectangular plane. So imagine a flat surface, okay? So given a point that lies on a plane, we can give it a set of coordinates, x and y. The x-coordinate and the y-coordinate. Let's say, for example, point A. How do we give this point a set of coordinates? So what we do is we draw a line through point A that is perpendicular to the x-axis. Where this line intersects the x-axis is the x-coordinate. In this case, it is 2. We will draw another line, an imaginary line, through point A that is perpendicular to the y-axis. Where that line intersects the y-axis is the y-coordinate. So you have a set of coordinates, a pair of real numbers, x and y. By the way, these axes are the real number lines, okay? So this line here, the horizontal line, is the real number line that is set horizontally. And this one is another real number line that is set vertically. Let us locate the coordinates of these points. Point A. Point A has coordinates 0, 0 because its x-coordinate is 0, the y-coordinate is 0. Point B, look at that. Okay, draw a line through B that is perpendicular to the horizontal axis. -1 is the x-axis. No, the x-coordinate, I mean. And another line through point B that is perpendicular to the vertical axis. It will intersect the vertical axis at 2. 2 is the y-coordinate. So, it's -1, 2. For point C, look at this. It's 2, the x-coordinate. 1 is the y-coordinate. For point D, look at this. Okay, point D, -2 is the x-coordinate. -1 is the y-coordinate. So again, this is how we identify the coordinates of a point. We draw a line through the point that is perpendicular to the vertical axis. The point of intersection would be the x-coordinate. We will draw another line through the point that is perpendicular to the y-axis. The point of intersection is going to be the y-coordinate. And by the way, I said earlier, okay, in the previous slide, that this pair is an ordered pair, okay? This is an ordered pair because this point with coordinates -1 and 2 is not the same as a point with coordinates 2 and -1. They are different. So how do we plot a point given their coordinates? Okay, so 3 is the x-coordinate, 0 is the y-coordinate. So this point lies on the horizontal axis. That is point A. Point B, -3, okay, -3, okay, draw a line through -3, perpendicular to the x-axis, and then -3 is the y-coordinate, okay, -3, draw it, the point of intersection is where you will find your point B. By laying down our coordinate axis, we divide the plane into 4 quadrants, and we read the quadrants counterclockwise. Quadrant 1, Quadrant 2, Quadrant 3, Quadrant 4. And where is your point will tell you the sign of the coordinates. When I speak about sign, I'm talking about positive sign or negative sign. So in the first quadrant, your points here would have coordinates that are both positive, because it is in the positive side of the x-axis and the positive side of the y-axis. Here, this is the third quadrant, your coordinates will have negative sign. Why? Because this part is the part for your negative real numbers. And this part is also the part for the negative real numbers in your vertical axis. So let's say we have these points. Let us locate the quadrants that contain these points by just looking at the sign. Okay, positive, negative. Positive x-axis, negative y-axis. This is in the fourth quadrant. Negative, negative, -4, -3. Negative, this is located in the negative part of the x-axis and negative part of the y-axis. So it's here in the third quadrant. How about this? 1, 0. So this one is positive, this is 0. So that means it lies on the positive side of your horizontal axis. It lies there on the x-axis, in particular in the positive side of your x-axis. What are the uses of the rectangular coordinate system? Well, we use it in map reading. Okay, so we have a place, we can give it an address. I remember my Boy Scouting days. We have this thing called orienteering. Okay, so we are given a map, and the map actually is divided like a rectangular coordinate system. You have a y-axis, you have an x-axis, and you can tell the address of a location by looking at the map using your x and y-axis. Another use of the rectangular coordinate system, whenever you are observing something that shows quantity or magnitude over a period of time, you can plot those information in a rectangular coordinate system. So something like this can happen. Okay? When we were kids, we were always measuring our height against the wall. Okay, so in year 2000, when we measured our height, you were 3 feet. When you measure yourself again by year 2001, your height is something like 3.5 feet. So each of these points represent an information, your height when it was measured at a particular year. So whenever you are seeing information that is presented this way, okay, magnitudes that change in a course of time or over a period of time, that information is what you call a time series. Okay? These are series or sequences of observations that vary in a period of time.